Hi, my name is Mark Jewell. I am a climber, rock climber, alpine climber, and ice climber. I've climbed for 12 years, and I've been ice climbing for about 7 years now. So I'm just going to respond to a couple frequently asked questions about ice climbing posed by non-ice climbers, primarily by rock climbers. The appeal for me in ice climbing is really one of aesthetic. There's something very beautiful about the ephemeral nature of frozen water. It's like nature has sculpted these cathedrals that we can climb, and every single time you climb it, it's a first ascent, because every year it's different. There's a huge aspect of adventure because you don't know what's coming, you don't know what the ice is going to be like, and there's something very meditative and very enjoyable about the repetition of thwack, thwack, kick, kick, thwack, thwack, kick, kick, and slowly making progress with the same repetitive movement. So technical ice climbing comes from mountaineering, right? So historically you climb a mountain, and of course there's going to be steep hard-packed snow, steep glacial ice that you're climbing, and every now and then you'll have a pure ice step. And so it's primordial to have the skills of technical ice climbing in order to get up a mountain. But it's not until relatively recently that climbers have been seeking out frozen waterfalls, so waterfall ice outside of the mountains, as a technical challenge. So ice climbing is, unfortunately, a gear-intensive sport. Essentially what you need are boots, crampons, and ice axes. Ice climbing boots, or a mountaineering boot, right? It's essentially a stiff-soled boot that you can attach a crampon onto. Crampons, okay? Front point crampons. There are two types, mountaineering crampons and technical ice climbing crampons. These are for technical ice. The difference are that these front points are vertical and downward pointing, which punctures the ice very, very nicely, as opposed to mountaineering crampons made for hard-packed snow, which will have horizontal front points, okay? And then your ice tool, or ice axe, right? This is different from a mountaineering axe. This is made for technical ice climbing. It has become shorter over the years. It has been curved with a downward pointing ice pick, right? This gives a very nice swing. It's made for climbing technical vertical ice, as opposed to self-arrests when you're mountaineering, right? So as you climb up leading ice, you're going to be protecting it with ice screws, right? These tubular screws that you will screw into the ice. This is probably the hardest part of ice climbing because it's extremely tiring to place one of these. Once it's in the ice, good ice, it can actually be a very good piece of protection. You clip a quick draw to it, and then you clip your rope, okay? This is an ordinary quick draw that you can use in sport climbing as well. We do use these in ice climbing, but we often prefer a screamer or an explosive draw. Basically what this does is when you fall on it, once it reaches around 3 kilonewton, it explodes. By that I mean the stitches are going to undo, and it's going to elongate. And in doing so, it's going to absorb a fair bit of shock. And so that the peak number of kilonewtons that you put onto your gear is going to be decreased dramatically, which would then decrease the chances of your screw popping. It's cold. Yeah, ice climbing is cold. But you'd be surprised when you're having a good day of climbing and you're making progress and the sun's shining, even if it's minus 20, you think rarely about the temperature. When you're climbing, Belang's another story. When you're climbing, you take off your big puffy jacket and you're sweating, right? You're warm. You might have cold toes or cold fingers, but all is good. That is until you get to the top, right? Because you've been climbing, say, a 60-meter pitch, your hands are above your heart, you're squeezing onto your tools. There's not a lot of blood, oxygenated blood, getting to your fingertips. You get to the top, you put your hands down, you shake them out, and all of a sudden, all of the blood flows into your fingers, and this will create what we call the screaming barfies, which is terrible. It's called that because you feel like you want to scream and barf at the same time. It's absolutely terrible. It's sort of a mystery to science, but it's interesting in the sense that you know that there's not any sort of sustained damage that you're doing to your body. It's not going to last for more than 30 seconds, but while it's happening, it's terrible, and you want to cry and throw up and die. So that's probably the worst part of ice climbing, but it's kind of a fun game because it's only temporary. You know, wait 30 seconds and you'll be fine. Belaying, on the other hand, can be very cold, right? If your partner is climbing a 60-meter pitch and you're belaying for half an hour, you know, when it's minus 20, 30, it sucks, right? So you're gonna have a big down puffy jacket, and you're gonna be keeping yourself warm, kind of in fetal position as you belay. But after a certain while, after, you know, 10 minutes, you're frozen. So there's something that we called the milk the cow dance, which we do to stay warm. I'll demonstrate, right? So you milk the cow. And this will help blood flow into your fingers and into your extremities and help to keep you warm. So yes, dancing is an extremely important and essential part of belaying. Well, sort of. It depends. Kind of like rock climbing. Is rock climbing dangerous? It depends. It depends on your judgment. It's all about risk assessment and managing risk and staying within an acceptable level of risk. And yes, it comes with experience, being able to make those decisions and judgment calls to make sure that you stay in that realm. And different people have different levels of risk that they're willing to take. And it comes down to that. So yes, ice climbing is objectively more dangerous than rock climbing because there are things that you don't control, objective risk. These include, you know, ice falling. So you do need to be careful, but it all comes down to your decisions. So in what ways is ice climbing more dangerous than rock climbing? The first is ice fall, right? I mean, you're belaying and you have your partner who's climbing, you know, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 meters above you, hacking away at the ice. Yeah, it's super dangerous, right? You're gonna have sometimes big blocks falling down, and you really need to make sure that your belayer is protected and out of the line of fire. So that's the first risk. The second one is about leader fall, right? So ice screws are potentially very strong, right? An ice screw, if it's set in good ice. If it's set in less than ideal ice, it's not going to hold a whole lot, right? And so what's difficult is to make those judgments about what the quality of the ice is. So ice screws are never going to be as solid as super good modern rock protection, wires and cams and whatnot. But ice screws can be okay. That being said, even if you're taking a decent fall on a very good ice screw in good ice, you still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times 2, 24, 25, 26 knife blades on you, flailing around that might puncture you. Not great, right? So you don't really want to fall in ice climbing. When you fall, I mean, chances are everything will be fine, but falling is kind of the thing that you do once or twice in your ice climbing career, not on a daily basis. You still use the old school mentality, which is leader doesn't fall, right? So you don't plan on falling, you always climb in control, so that you're never pushing yourself to the limit so that you're pumped out and unable to place a screw and taking big falls on screws. That's irresponsible. The last dangerous, objectively dangerous aspect of ice climbing is the possibility of having your whole ice climb fall down with you on it, right? So all ice climbs fall down at least once a year at the end of the season in springtime, and we hope it's only once a year. So that's a big judgment call, right? Is the ice stable or not? What are conditions like? Has temperature been fluctuating, et cetera, et cetera? There's a lot of judgment involved. Most of the time you can get away pretty safely, right? The types of climbs that fall down are, you know, freestanding pillars or hanging dagger icicles. So, I mean, if all you gotta do is avoid those. The problem is that those are often the most beautiful and the most aesthetically enticing lines that inspire us to climb. Well, you make the decision. Yeah, it is. Ice climbing is beautiful. It's a wonderful sport that pushes me to my limits. It forces me to stay in control, to control my fears, to control my movement, to know myself better. It gets me outside in the wintertime to establish extremely strong bonds with my partners. And I love it. Climb safe. Rien d'autre.